we're going to learn how to cut a brisket. First of all, the brisket's made a couple different meats. You get the flat here on this area over here, and you got the point on this side. Now they have two different grains. The problem with the flat is the grain structure kind of goes a couple different directions, kind of like this, and kind of fans out, and then the point has other ways. So we're going to talk about how we cut it. First of all, you kind of find where the structure is. In this case, this is going this direction. I actually looked underneath here by just pulling it apart a little bit. And I'm going to cut this first here. This is probably the best part of the brisket, or at least one of them, right? Because you got a nice little corner end. Cut a couple triangles here, perfect for those who are sitting around watching you cook and carve it. And let's go ahead and start carving one by one. So start doing slice by slice. And as you see here, I'm going to start kind of fanning out. So rather than taking even slices, it's going to be a little bit thinner on this side over here and a little bit thicker on this side. And I'm going to go here until I start seeing kind of where the flat starts hitting the point. And you'll notice that because you start seeing two different layers of meat. It's going to be a meat and a fat layer and then another layer of meat. So I'm getting to it. It's kind of happening right around this area where you start seeing it. Let's pull this apart here a little bit. And you see this little slice here that I just did. It's got a little bit of little fat here. And that's kind of where he was. And you see here, we're starting oozing some nice juicy meat here. So if I kind of push this down, you see all that moisture coming out. That's perfect. All right. Then cut a couple more slices. Now I don't like to, when I cut my brisket, I like to keep the slices together like this, nice. The reason you do that is that they don't dry out. If you're serving some people, it's kind of nice. Just cut some slices in half. Or if you're doing competition, you wouldn't do this because you just messed up your competition entry. And at this point here, I'm going to actually separate the flat from the point. And I'm going to come underneath here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to put it right between these two different, this layer of fat. And I don't like, some people like cutting their briskets this way, which looks kind of nice, but I don't know, I just think it shows too much fat, and personally I'd rather see a nice piece of meat than a nice piece of meat kind of mixed with a big layer of fat. So I'm going to cut down the line. So I get to this point, you see this is all, this right here, that's a big old layer of fat. I don't want to eat that. And this is the bottom part. I'm going to go ahead and put that to the side for now. And continue on this side, which is the point. You start seeing some meat. Now you see here, right here you see some layers of meat going this direction, and as soon as I took this layer of fat off, you start seeing these layers going this way. That means I need to cut it this direction. You want to always cut against the grain. If you cut with the grain, no matter how moist that meat is, it's going to taste like beef jerky. All right. All right, so I got to this point here. Now I'm going to flip it over again, because this is the good stuff. And I can start cutting top to down, up to bottom. And these, nice thing about the point is you can make some really thick slices, because this is where it's really moist. And personally, I like to keep about 1/4 inch of fat on top. Sometimes I spend more time on briskets. This time when I did this brisket, I didn't spend as much time as I normally do. But as you see here, I got some really good marbling in here on this brisket. Pulled it up and just kind of pulls apart, which is perfect. half. Make it a little bit easier. Keep all those pieces, slices together. Again, they don't dry out. Problem with brisket is when it dries out, that's your enemy. I got a little helper here today, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it to my helpers today. So there's some in the background here. I think
it's good when it's warm.
It's good when it's warm. All right, so this time, see here, the meat's kind of coming this way, so I'm just cut it along the grain. This is the bottom. This is what was underneath the point. This is kind of considered still lean meat, but and the main thing here is I'm cutting these about a little bit more than a pencil width thickness, and you want a little snap, right? So you see that? I just kind of pull it, and they snap apart. Good stuff. All right. I'll show you the finished product here in a second. Everyone thinks about smoke ring. You know what? Smoke ring looks nice, but it doesn't mean what's the flavor. The flavor is actually what's in the meat, the type of meat you use. I use prime all the time. I've used choice. Problem with that, it gets really, it doesn't look good, but as you see in this piece of meat here, I got a nice little smoke ring on top and bottom. This is kind of from the flat. Still has a nice little tug, right? It's not super hard to pull apart. Got some of my burnt ends, which I love. Everyone likes burnt ends. Let's look at the finished product. All right, so here's a whole brisket. Cut it up. Always keep the rub side up. Got this is my moist area that I've cut up earlier. It's my flat. Let's see, I keep it all together. Keep it nice fanned in, and then as you serve it, just fan it out little by little. Little burnt ends for people. And that's that. I wish you could actually taste this through the camera, but you can't. Talk to you later.